What up, gang?
Boom, coming at you.
Boom, we're here. This is the bottle edition. Fuck yes, dude. Oh, I'm so G'd up, man.
This is what we've been waiting for, bro.
Dude, I've been waiting all fucking season for this. I've been hearing all the goddamn naysayers. Like, oh, Messi's not that good. Oh, they can't do it this year.
And they're on the verge of doing a treble. What do they call it? The local treble?
Dude, I think they call this... Oh, you're talking about Man City or Arsenal?
Yeah,
oh, okay. I thought you were talking about Arsenal.
Oh, no.
Arsenal doing a treble of bottles, bro.
No, this would be the quadruple of bottles because they...
I think, can you really... Well, the AFL Cup, you can call it a bottle.
Yep, they bottled the final. Yep.
The league, you can call it a bottle because they've led the whole way.
FA Cup, you can.
If they don't make the Champions League final, is it a bottle?
Yes, because they would set... Because all the Arsenal fans said that they were going to win the quadruple. I call it a bottle. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm cool to call it. I'm cool to call it that. I just want to make sure.
And this will be the quadruple of quadruples because this will be if they lose the league, this will be the fourth time they've come second.
Oh man, there's gonna definitely be a stat on suicides for fucking Arsenal fans after this. Dude, it's got
North London's gonna be fucking blowing up. If Arsenal don't win and Tottenham get relegated, North London's gonna blow up.
Because look, I always think the funny thing is that obviously like Arsenal fans before were like, well, even if, you know, we lose to City, we have the goal difference when they had an 8 goal difference.
Yep.
It's now down to 1.
Yep. The goal difference.
The goal difference of 1. They've got a game in hand, which
we'll get into.
Yeah. Man City definitely going to score more than 1 goal.
Yeah, Man City, if Burnley can keep Man City to a clean sheet, I'll give them mad props. But I just didn't see it happening, bro.
I mean, they weren't able to do it this weekend, were they?
No.
It's not looking good, bro.
Not looking good, bro.
But... We've got this week. Got a bit of news. Nothing too.
Well, we didn't
crazy.
have news last week, right?
We didn't.
So
no.
we're doing catch up on news.
So we've got a little bit of news. Nothing like extravagant. No one's being extorted by. No one's being extorted by European gangsters, but still some fun stuff.
Yep.
Then we'll obviously go through the upcoming FA Cup. Got the semi-finals coming up this weekend. We'll look at match day 33 kind of results. Yeah, I've got a few little stats that'll be nice to jump into, which is more, you know, Arsenal, Man City coming into the final 6 games of the season.
Yeah, that was the big game. So all the other games were. I mean, there were some big games, some big results, but this was the game.
I think there's still obviously probably the next biggest thing is obviously the top 5 in there. There's probably some change that could happen. It's almost locked into where it is.
It's pretty much locked, yeah. Especially the way that the teams below are playing, us. Especially the way that we're like us and the teams below are playing. I think the top 5 is set. I did see something about how Chelsea could still make Champions League. But it's going to... It's very specific.
Well, it'd have to be a backdoor entry.
So, not Arsenal, sorry.
Chelsea loves a backdoor entry.
Oh, dude, we have to get in somehow. Fuck it. Sneaky little fucks. Aston Villa need to finish 5th and win the Europa League.
They have to finish 5th and win, so then the spot drops down.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
I mean, winning the Europa League is possible for them.
Yeah, they got... we'll get into that next week when the Champions League and Europa League semis are on and Conference League. But, they play Forest in the semis. So, and then I think it's between Freiburg and... Shit, I forget the other team. But it's very possible that Aston Villa win a European trophy before Arsenal.
Oh God, I can't wait. And then obviously, you know, on the opposite end of the table, we'll probably chat about what's going to happen with Tottenham.
Right, big games this week. Huge games this week. And who would have thought Wolves versus Tottenham was going to be a big game?
No, who would have thought probably one of the most boring Premier League seasons is going to have the most exciting end?
I think it's because it's got Tottenham in it.
Well, yes, it's got Tottenham in it. Yeah, and it's got Arsenal in it.
Oh, you're talking about on the other side?
Well, from both sides.
Both ends.
Like, it is exciting at the top.
Yeah.
Right? For how average this league has been this year.
Yep.
And it's also super exciting at the bottom. Because of how average this league has been this year. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But look, let's jump into a bit of the news that we've got.
Yep.
Thomas Frank ex-Tottenham manager, ex-Brentford manager.
Speaking of Tottenham, yeah.
So he's
Speaking of the man that put him in that position,
yeah. Well, he's got a new job, guys.
good for him.
He's going across to Rangers.
Wasn't Gerard?
Gerard was at Rangers. He went undefeated with them. Same as Brendan.
No, recently. Did Gerard go back?
I don't think he went back.
Or was it Brendan Rodgers went back to Celtic?
Brendan Rodgers to Celtic.
Yeah, so that's, I think that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, but Gerard obviously had a great stint at Rangers for his period there. I mean, interesting to see what Thomas Frank can do.
Well, I just want to have a look to see where they are at the moment. They're coming second behind Hearts, but only by 1 point. So, exciting season. I just want to know how he got the job. What happened to the old guy?
I don't know. I just don't follow the
I know. I'm
Scottish Premier League enough.
Yeah, to be fair, it's pretty shit.
Well, there's only like 3 teams in it.
Yeah.
Hearts, Celtic, and
Rangers.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure some Scottish people would fucking completely disagree with me.
No, that's pretty much it. Now, they had Danny Roll who's like 36 years old, some German dude. Now they got Thomas Frank, so cool.
I mean, yeah, best of luck to them because Thomas Frank's had some real good outcomes when it comes to Tottenham. But then again, no one's really had a good outcome from Tottenham.
No. Well,
Ange.
once you leave.
Ange had a good outcome.
Oh, Ange had a great outcome.
Yeah,
he won a European trophy, got sacked, got paid, and now he gets to see him get relegated.
Oh, fuck. Good for him. He's got to be happy, just chilling out, counting his money. But we'll end up seeing what happens with him. I don't think we'll follow it that closely, but if he sucks, we will. The next one, and this is one that, I love to talk about.
Oh, you fucking love this guy.
One of my most favourite players ever. The player that Kroos and Modric made look like a superstar, Vinicius Jr. Mm-hmm. So obviously he's fallen out of favour with Real Madrid. He's fallen out of favour with the managers that have come in at Real Madrid. Obviously the ownership has always backed him, which I find fucking crazy.
But even the players for a while now have been over him, over his bullshit. I remember there were videos of Bellingham getting the shits, and Mbappe is apparently a dictator. They call him Dictator Mbappe now because he's making all the moves.
Well, there was a interesting stat that came out for Mbappe. So when he was at PSG, when he went through 5 managers at PSG, he's now gone to 3 at Real Madrid. And they go, how many more before he loses it? Because he's not a serial winner.
No, he's really not.
He's really not. All right, he's got a few trophies.
The guy's always golden boot. Right? Yeah. Now, when he was at PSG, bro, that was easy. I mean, you win the league, easy. But they never won the Champions League.
No.
They made the final once, which was in the COVID year. Mm-hmm. Right? Then he leaves, and lo and behold, they win.
They win a quadruple.
Yeah. Now he goes to Real Madrid, and they have not won a trophy since he's been there. Everyone thought that he was going to be like the reason why they just win all the trophies, but they've won nothing. And after the Bayern Munich game, what's the owner's or the chairman's name?
Perez.
Yeah, Perez went into the locker room, told Gula, go outside because you don't deserve this spray, and just sprayed all of them. He goes, "This is Real Madrid. You are not allowed to go 2 seasons without a trophy." No,
it's unheard of.
Yeah, it is unheard of.
It's completely unheard of. Yeah. So this is the reaction of Vinny Jr. is that he's now had, this is what Goal reports.
Yep.
That he's had his agents shopping around Europe for a new club. Mm-hmm. So he's looking for an exit strategy from Real Madrid. Here's the funny thing. There are no clubs interested in Vinny Jr. Because not only is he expensive transfer fee, he's an expensive salary.
Mm-hmm. He'd be on over 600.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And what are you trying to tell me? You want to pay, okay, let's say, for instance, he comes to replace Salah. Do you think he's going to produce the numbers that Salah produced? No chance.
No.
There is no way that he can produce the numbers.
I think he's too soft for the Premier League.
Oh, I think so too. He'd be down on the floor every 2 seconds.
He'd be getting
He's
murdered.
in it in the Champions League, and that's not as rough.
Yeah.
But yeah, so obviously the joke of the whole article is that no clubs are interested. And I do love the tagline that they've put on there. Not even Chelsea want to sign him.
Nope. I would not want him in my club. He is a cancer. The guy, unless the only way that I could see him going further in his career, right? I can only see him going down 3 ways. 1, he sorts out his shit and he stays at Real Madrid. Okay, that's probably the biggest option, the best option for him.
But it also depends what manager comes in. Because obviously
Yeah.
the rumor is now
Well,
that Arbeloa is going to lose his job at the end of the season.
There were 3 names. I read Jose Mourinho could be back. And bro, if Jose goes there, do you think Mbappe and Vinny and Bellingham are going to love his tactics?
No.
They're going to fucking hate him.
No chance.
Right? 2 was Klopp. Obviously, he's free at the moment.
That has been rumored a couple times now
Yep.
for Real Madrid. He has said no every time.
Yep.
So that's a long shot as well, I think.
The third one, Didier Deschamps. After the World Cup.
That makes sense.
He's out of work as Zidane is going to be going to the French job. I think Didier Deschamps would be a good manager at Real Madrid.
I mean, it depends if he's got that commitment to a club team again.
Well, yeah, correct. Yeah, because
Right,
when you're
'cause
doing internationals, you're only available once every 3 months.
Yeah.
And you get the rest of the time off. When you're clubbing, you're fucking clubbing. You know what I mean?
It's every week.
But-
week in, week out, and you've got those fans on your back.
I do like the idea of him there with Mbappe and Chouameni and Camavinga there. You've already got that French core. He already knows how they play, and plus he's going to have. He's already dealt with superstars, and the French team is full of superstars, so he knows how to manage them already. He could do it as well.
He's
at
a
Real Madrid.
superstar himself.
He was, yeah.
And I think that's the problem that they've had with Real Madrid because they've got to have these players in. Gareth Bale, I keep commenting about Gareth Bale's interviews in this because Gareth Bale came out and said, well, I mean, look at the players that you have. There shouldn't be any tactics required.
You don't need to teach these players anything. What are you going to teach these players?
You need to just have them run around with each other, so they play with each other, and then eventually,
No homo.
yeah. Well, Mbappe did take the training, and just let them play, right? Because I feel like people are trying to over-engineer this, but I mean, on the other side of that argument, Arbeloa has just let them play. They haven't done any better, right? Obviously, it's the constant arguing with the referees. It's the constant blaming of the other teams, blaming of the pitch. It's just, you know who doesn't do that? Like teams that win.
Like Bayern Munich.
Bayern Munich haven't complained at all.
PSG don't complain.
PSG?
Well, they used to when they had Neymar and Mbappe. You take those cancers out of the club, and now look at them.
Yeah.
They play like a proper
Well,
team.
they have Ousmane Dembele, who was the reject.
He was the reject at
Now he's
Barca.
Ballon d'Or.
Yeah, I know. Crazy, eh?
Yeah. You have these young players like Doué coming to the team. They have these quiet achievers like
Valverde.
no, that's it. Real Madrid. I'm talking about PSG.
Oh, sorry, PSG. Vitinha.
They got Vitinha and who's that little Portuguese guy?
The other
João
midfielder.
Neves.
João Neves.
João Neves in their midfield. Bro, you see those players get chopped to the ground. They just get straight back the fuck up and they just play.
Bro, the best one's Vashkilia.
Yeah.
Right? Against us, he was on the bench. Did you see him whinge? Did you see him complain?
No.
He came on, he scored 2 goals.
Yeah.
Right? He gets chopped every single game. He doesn't bitch and moan. He just goes, all right, keep coming at me.
I always go back to, it's a clip from a podcast that Robin Van Persie did.
Yeah.
And he's talking about his son, and his son was playing in the juniors.
Feyenoord?
Plays in the juniors at Feyenoord, and he was on the bench.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
And he's whinging in the car again. He's whinging in the car on the way home, and he's going, they didn't play me. If they played me, we could have won the game. And Robin Van Persie goes, you sound like a loser. Like you don't sound like winners don't do that.
No, winners don't do that.
Like if you have a problem with them benching you, you go out there and you prove that it is a mistake that they benched you. Mm-hmm. So at training, you go twice as hard as that person that played in front of you. You go and put in the extra work. You make sure they understand that if they bench you, they are putting the team at a loss. I don't think Real Madrid have that at the moment. I don't think they have that tenacity of a player. I think Bellingham does. Mm-hmm.
Valverde.
I think Valverde does. Mm-hmm. I think Rudiger does.
Yep.
I think Courtois does. Mm-hmm. And these are the core players that have previously won.
Carvajal when he's fit.
Carvajal, he's just aging now.
Yeah.
But I think that there are so many players in that team, Mbappe being one of them, Vinny Jr. being another one of them, that just don't have that. They think that everything should be given to them and they don't need to earn it because they've already earned what they should have.
Yeah. Well, that's where Real Madrid need a strong man manager. That's why they were so successful under Ancelotti twice and unsuccessful under Zidane, because they were strong man managers. And if anybody just needs a man manager, it's Real Madrid. And I think the Didier Deschamps move would be a big move.
Well, I think he would know how to handle the egos.
100%. He's been dealing with it since the 2018 World Cup.
I still think them sacking Xabi Alonso was the worst decision for him.
I think hiring was the worst decision. Young guy, young manager, such a big job.
That's a fair assumption
It made sense because he was probably the best young manager in the game, but the job is just too big at Real. You've got to be experienced. The only one that was successful that was new was Zidane, and he didn't do shit. Like we were talking about
but
Gareth Bale.
He also walked into a fairly.
Well, he was also the assistant. He was the assistant.
Yeah,
right.
Like
so he knew the team.
He knew the players.
Plus, the guy's probably the greatest midfielder of all time. So it's very easy for players to just listen. Whereas Xabi Alonso, great player, but not at that level. And when you're trying to dictate these players how to play, you could just tell it was going to go on the wrong side of them.
Well, you're correct, right? Like he came in with his strategy for a game and wanted them to play the way he wanted to play.
Yeah.
They didn't want to do that. And I think, look, whenever you get a rise up between the players going to management and saying we need to get rid of the manager, I think that's just the wrong move.
Yep.
It's the wrong move.
Yeah.
But, I mean, look, interesting to see Vinny Jr. because I think the other place he goes is Saudi.
I didn't finish my 3 points. First one was Real Madrid. The second one was going to be Saudi.
Yeah.
Which they probably should have taken the deal last year when some team offered $500 million for him.
Yeah.
Probably should have taken it. The third one I've got is if he does want to stay in Europe, the only league I can see him in is Italy, right?
But they're not going to pay him.
No, they're not going to pay him, right? But
No chance.
if he wants to continue in Europe and Real Madrid don't want him, because look, I don't see PSG need him. Bayern Munich definitely won't take him. No one in England I think will take him.
No.
The only league I could see him would be in Italy. Problem is,
but imagine him going to Bayern, bro. He's not better than Luis Diaz.
he's not better than Luis Diaz.
He's not better than Elise.
Elise, no. He ain't making that side.
No.
Yeah.
If you want to go sit on the bench, but again, they're not going to pay him $600,000.
Yeah, to sit on the bench. Yeah.
They're-
So
anywhere he goes, he's going to have to take a pay cut of at least half.
or fix your attitude. Don't be such a fucking dick.
I think that's easier said than done. For
Yeah,
him.
hard. Maybe you go to Monaco. Monaco's got a bit of cash.
Not $600,000 a week cash. I don't think anyone has that. No one. Man City wouldn't pay that.
PSG, Real Madrid, or Barcelona. I don't know how, but they would be as well. They're the only clubs that have that money,
He
and they
would be
are
a
not.
player that would go from Real Madrid to
He
Barcelona.
would. He's a piece of shit like that. Yeah.
But interested to see. Now, positive note, your man, Frank Lampard, he's gotten Coventry City promoted to the Premier League.
He is slowly building up his managerial experience and what he's done at Coventry, because he took them last year at the start of the season, or halfway through the season, and they were coming like 15th. He took them to 6th, right? And they just missed out on
The playoffs.
No, they made the playoffs.
They just missed out from getting promoted through the playoffs.
Yeah. Right. So they just missed out.
Because they won the first round, lost the second
Lost
round,
the
right?
second one. So they just missed out. And everyone had big hopes for them this year. And bro, he took them. I think they've been first since the early days, and they've kicked on. And there was a little lull period there where they drew a couple of times and they lost some points, but they've been on top for pretty much most of the season. And now Frank's taken them to the Premier League, and I think it's the first time in like 25 years the Coventry's been in the Premier League.
Yeah, correct.
So,
I think it's
awesome job.
Since it's been the Barclays Premier League, I don't think that they've been in that first division.
Barclays was in '94, right?
I think so.
Yeah, no, I think they were in
They've
2000.
been it once before.
Yeah, 2000. I think they were.
Okay.
In, yeah.
Because
So,
I like Frank. I think he's always been a quality player, right? But I think he struggled last time when he was at Chelsea. I think you could tell that the pressure got to him.
the last time he was at Chelsea, it was interim. That was after
Correct.
Potter got sacked, right? And that was a dog shit season. He was there just to get us to the end of the year.
Yeah.
But before that, when he was our proper manager, he was given another shit job because that was after Sardi, and we had the transfer ban. So he couldn't bring anyone in. So they used him to bring up the young kids. That's when we had like Tomori and Reece James came in, and Tammy Abraham. Like we had all these kids from the juniors play with us, and they thought it was a good idea to bring him through. He got us top 4, got us into the next year. Wasn't working out. We sacked him, and then we got Thomas Tuchel. But
I
at
just
the
think
start, he was not ready for that job.
yeah, it was too early. It was too early.
Because I think he only had the Derby job. I think was the only job he had before
correct.
that. And so you go from like Championship Derby to then Premier League Chelsea, and you're like, it's obviously a big jump.
But it's also you haven't had the experience of dealing with the pressure of the team not playing well. You're not there because no team is perfect for the whole season. Okay,
Correct, yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, I mean, obviously the exception to the rule is Leicester when Leicester won the league.
They were pretty much perfect
Right?
that whole season.
We're almost kind of an exception to the rule last year, right? Where we managed to scrape wins, but we weren't consistently good. But we consistently managed to get points.
Find wins, yeah.
But I think you need that kind of experience, which he's had now with Coventry, where you've brought the team up, you've gone through periods of the season where you're not getting the wins, right? You're consistently drawing, or you're consistently copping goals at the end of the game, whatever it is. Now you can come into the Premier League and try and build your team. So what I hope is they give him some money.
Yeah, that would be obviously Coventry is a pretty small club, right? So
In the scheme of the Premier League, yeah.
yes, right. So
Tiny.
I think everyone would be expecting him to yo-yo. So look, hopefully he gets a bit of cash. Hopefully,
But I mean,
they
with
invest
those,
in the club.
With those expectations, it's I don't want to say an easier job, but with the expectations of everyone thinks that they'll go up and they're in there for a season and go down. You know, I think it takes some pressure off Frank to have to perform at the level and get consistent wins, right? That he can lose games.
Yeah.
And it's just about how he manages those players to come bounce back the week after a loss. I hope he can keep Coventry up. I do like to see that. Maybe he can get Tottenham or West Ham or Forest. One of the three that look like they may get relegated this year.
I hope that he doesn't end up like not doing a good job, because I think he has the capability of being a really good manager. Probably like one of the better English managers. You know.
Well, he just got to manage that stress, right?
Yeah.
The media stress. I mean, look, I always come back to you could tell it was just too much for him on the sideline with when he was versing Klopp. Right, and he just started just going off at Klopp, telling him he's doing the big ends and doing all this.
Fucking sitcom, bro.
But you can tell that is the frustration of the games and the pressure coming through. Right, I mean, obviously Mourinho would do the same thing. But
of course,
Mourinho had a lot of titles behind him to back up his fucking statements. But look, I mean, actually, I'll give him genuine best of luck. I would like to see Frank succeed in the Premier League with Coventry. I do enjoy some of the championship tides coming into the Premier League. Change it up a bit.
Yeah.
Right? We don't want to see the same teams in and out every year.
Yeah. Well, speaking of which, in and out, we can talk about the other end of the championship ladder.
And Leicester City.
Yeah, former champions.
10 years ago. 10 years ago.
It's been 10 years since they were EPL champions.
They were EPL champions, and how they have fallen.
Yep.
They lost the likes of Jamie Vardy and some of their big leaders.
Yep.
You know, Morgan. They just... Harry Souttar.
Yeah,
Harry Souttar still there, or he's been injured?
No, he's been injured all season. He did his MCL or cruciate. Or so he did some. It was bad. It was like a long-term injury.
And they
reckon
lose
he's
some
going to struggle
points
for the
financial fair play as well.
They did get drop points as well. Yeah. So that obviously wouldn't have helped, because they're now, like your notes say, 5 points from safety with 3 games to go. Bro, you're pretty much done.
Yeah, well, and I think that's what they've all conceded to, the fact that they're going down to League One.
So they've done the double demotion.
In their defence, if they can look, they've had a tough ride in the last 10 years. The owner that made them so good dies in a horrible helicopter accident.
Once he died, you could tell that really hurt the club.
Well, they had an owner that likened Roman Abramovich.
Well, he cared so much about that club.
He didn't buy the club as an investment. He bought the club because he enjoyed football.
It was a passion.
Right? He'd make sure that all the supporters had scarves and flags coming into the game. He put on free food for all of the home supporters whenever they came. He put on events. He had that stadium bumping.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can only say it when I went to go and watch Liverpool in 2019, right? I tried to get tickets to Liverpool-Leicester at Leicester's home stadium. To buy a ticket to Leicester was almost more expensive than Anfield.
Really?
Yeah, because one, there is no tickets. You have to buy resale tickets. And people aren't just reselling a lot of tickets, right? Anfield had quite a lot. You can get into the cop section. Costed me, call it $700 a ticket. If I wanted to go to Leicester, it was about $580 a ticket at that time. That's
Pounds?
in 2019. No, dollars.
Dollars, okay.
Dollars, Australian dollars. So, yeah, I mean, I feel for Leicester. I always thought it was a really like it was not a club that you had animosity towards when they won the league. A lot of people went, "Fuck, congratulations!"
Except for Arsenal.
Well, except for us,
Because they came second. It seems to be a running theme.
God, that's
It's
interesting.
a running theme here. Yeah,
God, that's interesting.
yeah. They were everyone's second favorite team. Everybody wanted them to win. Everybody loved the underdog story. I mean, you looked at the players that they made from that. They made Kante, they made Mahrez, they made Jamie Vardy. Wes Morgan became a legend.
Drink water.
Kasper Schmeichel, drink water. Kasper Schmeichel became a fucking world beater. The Asian guy, what was his name?
The Japanese guy.
The Japanese guy, yeah.
Damn, what
There
was his
like,
name?
yeah, I
Not
forget.
Kamada. I want to say Kamada.
No,
but
that's
he's
the guy
still playing
now. Yeah, they built up a mad core group of players, and it was a movie. We were watching a movie.
Yeah, correct.
We were watching like the Mighty Ducks. You know, this is Mighty Ducks in real life.
The Flying V. But
So
no,
it's sad to see them where they are now. But
listen,
they've done the Sunderland. They've done the Sunderland.
And where is Sunderland now?
They're back in the
They
Prem.
repositioned
and
themselves.
they're
They got back in the Prems.
mid-table, doing well.
They ain't an easy team to go verse.
No.
So they could come back, and I hope they do.
Yeah.
But that kind of leaves us with a bit of news done. What have we got coming up this week? We have
Look, there are
FA Cup.
So we got the FA Cup. Starts on Sunday morning. I mean,
Very shit times for us, dude.
yeah, dude, I'm not watching either of them. Nah, I'm not. Oh, actually, it's Anzac Day this weekend, so I will watch the Chelsea game.
Yeah, I mean, look, unless I'm out for the 2:15 in the morning after Anzac Day to be watching Man City versus Southampton.
No, thank you.
Yeah, I just don't think so. My anticipation for the Man City Southampton game, they're going to play a lot of their junior players against Southampton. I would expect.
I don't think they will. I think they will put out a fairly strong team.
They do have an away game against Burnley in the
Yep.
EPL straight after. So
No, before.
is that before?
Yeah, so the Burnley game is this Thursday, and then the semi-finals is on Sunday. Yeah.
Oh shit, you're right.
Yeah, so they got Burnley first. Now, maybe they might rest players in that game, but I see no reason for him to really rest players because they're coming to the end of the season. And to be fair, none of those players look tired. Like, you know, when you start seeing teams look lethargic.
Nico O'Reilly's only just picking up.
I hope so. I triple captain him this week.
Cherky,
Bro, Cherky is... We will get into him, but fuck
killing it.
He is on fire.
Haaland is back.
Haaland's back. Doku is looking dangerous as ever.
I mean, stats don't tell the story, but when you watch him play, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And then you got Semenyo and Guy who have come into the team like a breath of fresh air for them.
Diaz is out.
Diaz is out.
Diaz is out,
Well,
but
that,
again, Gahey's stepping in, and Kushanov is playing exceptionally
great.
for a
He's playing
21-year-old.
Yeah.
He is playing completely above the level that he deserves to play at.
Yeah. So, look, first semi-final, Man City, Southampton. I think we all know how that's going to go.
Well, it's Man City at home as well.
No. It's
Wembley. It's at Wembley.
Yeah,
They're
both
both games at Wembley.
So, neutral ground. Man City have been there 1,000 times.
And I think that's the catalyst of the difference, is that Man City understand how to win these games.
Yeah. Now, look, Southampton
we're seeing it in the league.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
And we've seen it a million times in the FA Cup.
Yeah. Now, look, Southampton were the beaters of Arsenal. You know, that was a great win for them, but for them to back it up against City now, it's going to be a huge task.
Well, to go up against essentially number 1, number 2 in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, can you do it once? Does lightning strike twice?
Well, technically, it would be number 1 and then number 1 again.
Yeah.
The second semi-final is Chelsea Leeds.
How this would go for you guys, I don't know.
I've got a feeling. Look, I will be happy if it goes to pens. I don't think we're going to beat Leeds. We haven't scored in 4 Premier League games.
I don't understand where the fall off was, because
I know.
Please.
Sacking Maresca. Maresca was the fall off.
No, well, my point was going to be when Rossini took over.
Yep.
You guys started scoring in big games. Like you were winning. You scored 3 against PSG.
Yeah, we scored 4 against Aston Villa away.
So,
and you're like, okay, cool.
At what point did that change? And I know that you've got players that have now come out. You know, Enzo's come out. He's talking shit. Garnacho's talking shit. Kukureya's talking shit. I don't know where this has come from.
I don't know. This is an internal thing. Now, whether it's like a protest against, because there was a protest at the game from the fans, whether the players are feeling the same way about the ownership, possibly.
Look, listen, and I make this point for Arsenal as well. I strongly believe that the belief and the tenacity of the fans strongly influence how the manager and that team plays and how the club acts.
Well, that's been like Liverpool's backbone for like, 40, 50 years.
Correct. And I always say, I think last season, when we managed to win the league, the fans were 100% behind Slot because of how Klopp left the club, right? He left the club with full belief that Slot was the perfect person to take over. And we carried on with that belief. He managed to deliver. Now, he's come and he's his own person, and I don't think he's connected with the fans, the level that Klopp did. Klopp made it a big credit to connect with the fans, and he used them as a 12th man on the pitch. I just don't think Slot has done that, and I also don't think Rosenier has done the same thing.
I think that this ownership has never had the fans on their side from the very moment they came in, because the first thing they did was sack Tuchel. How do you sack a guy that just won you the Champions League, won them the Club World Cup, and won them the Super Cup, right? So he won them all these trophies in like 18 months. And then we had a season where we lost to you guys in like the EFL Cup final on pens and the FA Cup on pens, and we came third in the league. It was still a good season. We didn't win the trophies, right? But then they wanted to make a statement and they sacked Tuchel. I think they put the fans on the wrong side off the bat, and they've never recovered.
But look, it's also obviously clearly Blueco has a strategy when it comes to their transfers.
Yeah,
right?
they definitely do.
They want to bring in young players on long contracts, on good wages, and then obviously hope that they can either, one, re-sign the good players, like they are with Caicedo, with the likes of Esteval, Cole Palmer, give them longer contracts. Okay, I understand that. But the problem is those players aren't going to want to stick around for a long time unless you're bringing quality around them.
Yeah, fuck no.
Which you've seen with every team.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
They don't want to be stuck around in a struggling top team. You know what I mean?
No.
Like you don't want to be fighting for top 5 every year. You want to be competing every year.
Well, they want to win trophies.
Fuck right? Yeah, they want to win trophies.
Especially when they're young, they want to win trophies. So that, you know, okay, whatever your career path wants to be, right? You can be a scum like Alexander Arnold and then want to leave and go over to Real Madrid to not win any trophies. But, you know, or you can be a player. This is not like the likes of Charles Barkley in the NBA where you can play in a real shit team but just get heaps of points and then be a legend, right? Yeah. Football's about trophies.
Yeah.
If you don't win the trophies, you will not become a legend.
Yep.
Right? Like Steven Gerrard, whilst never won the league, he managed to win Champions League, FA Cup, EFL Cups, and become a legend because he stayed with our club and led our club to those trophies. If he had stayed at our club the entire time, we never won a trophy, he's not going to be the position that he is today, regardless of how good he was on the pitch.
Yeah.
And look, yes, you have won trophies with this team, right? The Club World Cup, the Conference League.
Yeah.
You know, like these smaller trophies are great, but the position that you put yourself in, especially with the amount that you've spent, you've got to be competing in the league.
Yep.
You've got to be competing in the Champions League.
Hard.
Otherwise, it's a pointless endeavour to continuously sign these young players.
Oh, yeah.
Like the Lap has been the biggest waste of a transfer.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's because he's a bad player.
No.
I just think it's too much of it. You've put him in such a big role at an age that he shouldn't be in that big role.
Yeah. And when you're surrounded by guys the same age, it doesn't give you the opportunity to kind of sit back and go, I'm going to let the older guys lead us through this period. It's going to be up to me.
But you're also not learning off anyone.
No.
Right? Like, you don't have the opportunity to go to, like, if you have a senior striker, a senior centre-back. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if we bring the likes of Leone in, Jarks, and you have Virgil van Dijk there, okay, maybe he's not at the level he once was. but it's about being in the situations. Obviously, when we get into the EPL, we will see the situations in which he can pull a team out of trouble.
Yeah.
Irregardless of, okay, he's made errors this season. I don't think he's at the quality he was 2 years ago with Klopp. But I still think he has a contribution to the team that can only be provided. It's like when you guys had your Brazilian centre-back.
Oh, Thiago Silva. Bro.
Right? Irregardless.
I would kill for Thiago Silva now.
It was more that he would pull you if you're in a bad situation. And he knew exactly when, okay, I need to slow the game down now. I need to get this player to be tighter. I need this player to do... He doesn't need to do the running. He needs to organise the team on that pitch to calm down, right? Don't do, when we get into the EPL, what Garnacho did against Man United. I think that was crazy, right? He's mountains of space and he's losing the ball.
Yep.
Craziness.
Yeah. No, the no experience thing, I've been screaming this from the mountaintops since the fucking start of the season. Need to sign experienced defenders, need to sign experienced goalkeepers, and then you let the flair guys do the attacking. But we don't have that. They want flair all across the pitch. I'm sorry, football doesn't work that way.
No.
You need to have experience to, one, help elevate the guys that are younger, to get them up to your level, and two, when you're in these sticky situations, like, let's say you're getting pressed hard, like the PSG game, we were 2-2. If you have an experienced centre-back, you probably go, all right, guys, let's try and shut it out. You know what I mean? Let's try and ride this out and let's get to the full time. But no, they got all these young guys and they keep trying to attack and push and everybody's up and you're going, what the fuck is everybody doing?
Well, they're trying to force and break a press through possession, and you're like, does our team have the ability to break that press?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
we don't. I think you see Roy Keane makes comments around, especially the Arsenal team, where they go, well, you need those players that are experienced to go, I appreciate what the manager's trying to do here, but from what I can feel and see on the pitch, I need to go out and do this. I need to go and find something that needs to get done on this pitch. If we need a goal, that player will go take it into his hands.
Yeah.
I like it when we had Torres Gerrard. That's what they would do, right? They go, okay,
They'll take the game by the balls and be like, we're going to fucking take us out of this.
Bro, the legendary comeback against AC Milan was Gerrard. He went in there, he's like, I'm not going to fucking lose this.
Yeah.
And came out and did it because he has that level and that experience in those games to be able to develop it.
Yeah.
So I actually have no idea how this FA Cup game is going to go for you guys.
I think it's going to be a draw, a score draw, a 1-1 or a 2-2. And then, which means we're going to have to score. So I'm going to go 1-1. Right? I'll go 1-1. And it's going to go to pens, and we'll just see what happens from there.
Yeah, well, I mean, pens is a roll of the dice for either team.
Exactly, yeah. So I think draw in that game. And you know what? If we lose on pens, you go, whatever. But with the team that we have, we should be beating Leeds, but we've played them twice, and we drew once after throwing a 2-goal lead, and we lost the other time. So I am not confident about this game. They might be 15th, but we're 6th or 7th or whatever it is. So it's not like we're way ahead of them. So I don't think this will be as straightforward as what some people might think.
But it'll be interesting games.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, until next week, we can see the results.
Yes, so we'll get into the fight, whoever wins those next week.
We obviously had match day 33.
Yes.
We have had the official one team has now been relegated.
Yes, now it's
from
fully
the league
official.
After this thing. But why don't we just quickly run through a lot of the results and then we'll just end on a few of the bigger games that happened this week.
I think we should note that you have now taken a commanding lead in our tipping.
I'm 10 points ahead.
Yeah, I was absolutely shocking this week. I got 3 and you got 7. So kudos to you.
7 is not a bad result.
Yeah. So
I think, to be fair, I think the best that I've ever gotten from a tipping is 8.
Yeah,
I think that's the best I've ever gotten. I've never gotten a perfect round.
Very, very hard.
I would listen, if someone gets a perfect round in the EPL, I'll fucking bow to you because that is amazing with the draws.
Yeah.
Right? But this week obviously we had the opening game, Brentford Fulham. Pretty boring game, to be honest. Pretty straightforward.
This was a 9:30 game. I watched it. It sucked. Look, we both picked Brentford. It was a 0-0 draw. There was one mad save from Leno at the end, which burnt me because it was Ultara and he was in my fantasy team. So I'm like, bro, because he just stuck an arm out. Like, it just popped up and he just stuck it out and got it. I'm like, you motherfucker. But yeah, look, 0-0 draw. Fulham were probably the better team. They had more possession. They looked more dangerous. Brentford were taking more pot shots. But I think a draw was probably a fair result in that one. Next was Leeds Wolves. That finished 3-0 to Leeds. We both picked Leeds in that one. Now, I've got a few goals of the week. And there was a goal in this one which I fully believe was goal of the week. The first goal went to James Justin, and he scored with an overhead kick.
Look, obviously, he's always going to be in the running.
Correct, yeah.
Always going to be in the
running.
running.
And it was a nice, like, his technique for it was pretty much perfect. It was a really good scissor kick, and I put that in my goals of the week category.
Yeah, for sure. Look, I agree with you in there. I think there's probably 3 goals in this week, which are going to be hard to differentiate because they all have a better quality of.
They're all different. So it just depends on what your flavour is. But
another point that I make in this Wolves game, and obviously, look, they've now been relegated.
It's now official. They lost this game. They're now officially done. But I think we pretty much knew they were going to be relegated after about week 10.
To be fair, I thought it was last season they got relegated. And it looked likely that I was going to be right on that one after everyone thought they'd be good. Ended up being this season. So yeah. I was just looking into the future.
Yeah.
But what I found interesting is there's been a bust-up between the players after the game in this one. So Tolu Akadare and Mane. So obviously Mane is the junior that they brought in at the back end of the season, who came onto the scene scoring and assisting for fun.
Yep.
Right, so he became a fan favourite. And Akadore, who's just, run-of-the-mill player for Wolves, have gotten into a bust-up. Now, the funny thing is here, Mane is 5'9", 18 years old and 71 kilos, versus a 6'6", 100 kilogram, 25-year-old. So
a little bit of a weight class difference in that one.
I don't know who wins that one.
Yeah. I actually can't find that Akadore. Did he play? I don't think he even played.
Well, he's now expected to leave Wolverhampton Wanderers this summer after a dressing room bust-up with Mane following the defeat to West Ham.
I wonder why.
Why?
Like, why were they punching on?
There's no details on it. All that you can see is reportedly he was the sole aggressor in the incident involving Mane. Despite having 4 years left on his contract, his future at the club now looks over.
4 years? Holy shit. They signed him on a big deal.
So
he fumbled the bag on that one.
Yeah, dude, what an idiot. And I just think I can understand people get frustrated, especially when you're looking at relegation. But I mean, he beats up a little guy, like
an 18-year-old, 70 kilo, fucking 5'9".
Yeah, when you're
football
almost
player,
twice his size. You've got 30 kilos on him. It's like, you know what my reaction is going to be? To beat him up. What a douche, dude.
The goals were James Justin, Okafor scores back-to-back games after his double against Man U, and then Calvert-Lewin got a penalty at the end. Next game, we got Newcastle-Bournemouth. Now, you picked a good one. You picked Bournemouth in that one.
Yeah.
I'm burning because I had a draw, but Tavernier scores, and then Osula scores. That striker that we thought they'd been missing.
Yeah,
he pops up every now and then.
Well, I didn't get the chance, right? They were so pressured on getting more strikers in. Look, I don't think they needed Wissa. I don't think Wissa seemed like a weird signing. Obviously, Walter Mata started well, died off at the end of the season.
Yeah. And I think the Wissa one was he came in injured. That never helps.
Oh, of course not.
It's very rare where you see a player come in injured and they kick on. Look at Lavia for us. Came in injured, hasn't played a proper game for 4 years or whatever it is.
Well, I've kind of been saying over the last few weeks, I mean, does Eddie Howe keep his job?
I find it would have to be a half decent replacement, but I don't see I don't see them getting better.
No,
I know they lost Ishak, but they still had a pretty good side, and they did pretty shit. I think they're coming 13th at the moment,
15th even, aren't they?
14th. We'll split the difference.
Split the difference.
Yeah, they're coming 14th at the moment, which isn't good for Newcastle considering they won the EFL Cup last year and they made Champions League.
Well, they have money, right?
They got cash,
I did get it. There was some issues with financial fair play.
Yep.
Right? And the Ishak sale solved all of that. Mm-hmm. Now they have no issues in financial fair play. They could have burt players in. But now there's rumours that Anthony Gordon is going to go.
Mm-hmm. Him to Bayern is the rumour, and I'm like, bro.
Makes sense.
Add Gordon to that Bayern team. Whew, fucking hell.
Bro, I mean, you've got some deadly wings.
Yeah.
Right?
You got Diaz, then you got Elise, and then you got Gnabry, and then you have Anthony Gordon. Right.
But the problem is that Newcastle needs to be able to keep these players. They should be developing themselves as the club that keeps these players.
Yeah.
They have the cash to do it. When Man City came in, they didn't start offloading their best players.
No.
They started cultivating players.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, they are in court for 115 charges for
Which we're still waiting
financial
for.
fair play.
We're still
However,
waiting.
Newcastle need to develop themselves into it. They have a good following. They have a good fan base.
Huge following. Huge. St. James's Park is one of the most historic parks in England.
Correct. So they have all of this infrastructure to become such a big club and go back to where they once were, but they just seem not to execute it.
Yeah, look, I think it's a fair point asking the status on Eddie Howe's job, considering how far they've dropped off this year. And you can't really put it down to injuries. I mean, their centre backs have been injured a bit. They have had to change keepers, new strikers. I kind of get it, but to go from 5th to 14th is a huge drop off.
Yeah.
And we've seen managers sack for less.
100%. So, I mean, they've got big faith in him.
But I will say there's probably one thing we could have brought up. Oh, did we bring up last week that the Bournemouth manager's leaving?
No, we didn't. Yeah. We could have thrown that in the news. So, yeah, the Bournemouth manager, Irola is...
whatever his name is. The Spanish guy.
Leaving.
Great manager. It'll be very interesting to see where he goes.
Chelsea.
I have a feeling like we're going to put our name in for him. And look, to be fair, I wouldn't be too upset. I just don't know if he's big, if it's a too big of a job for him.
I mean, at this stage, if you're putting in Rosenier, he's
better
more
than
Rosenier.
Oh yeah, he's Premier League made. He's been doing so well with a small budget Bournemouth team. Let's see how he goes with the big budget.
But he also develops the young players in the Bournemouth team quite well.
Yes, yeah.
Right, he develops Semenyo.
Yep.
He's developed Ryan in there. Krupi Jr. now.
Krupi Jr.'s 19. He's got a 10. He's got a double season. So done it right.
Hard to argue.
But Bournemouth got the winner with Truffet. So I mean, great win for Bournemouth. They're now coming 8th. They're in European spots.
Yeah, Conference League.
They're in the same, because Chelsea's on 48, Brentford's on 48, Bournemouth's on 48, Brighton's 47, Everton 47, Sunderland 46.
These European spots for the Conference League and Europa League are going to be very tight.
It's 6 to 11. 6 to 11 is a 2-point difference. So look, Bournemouth are pushing for European spots, and bro, if there's a team that hasn't been there that deserves it, bro, it's Bournemouth.
I 100% agree.
Yeah. Next game, what do we got?
Had the funniest game of the round.
Tottenham-Brighton. Now, we both had Brighton in this, but surprisingly, Tottenham took the lead twice. Oop, she's up. Tottenham took the lead twice. So, Porro scored first off a Xavi Simons
which is
cross.
a very rare goal from Porro these days.
I know, bro. Remember last year he was banging in for fun? Now
bro, assists and everything, and then he's dropped off the face of the earth.
Then Matoma gets an equaliser just before halftime, and I think it was up there for a goal of the week. It was a fucking nice finish.
Matoma does score some pretty good goals. But he's been less consistent than he's
been injured this year. He's been coming off the bench a lot. Yeah. But then Xavi Simons. Now this again was probably in my batch of goals of the week. Gets the ball from the left, cuts in and bangs it. Comes off the post. Great goal. And they all thought it was game. And then Ruder comes in the 95th minute. And
just kills
destroys again, Tottenham.
Tottenham just being lazy in defence.
It's just Tottenham being Tottenham.
But the only reason I probably wouldn't give Xavi Simons the goal, he cried after the game, man. You can't give goal of the week to a guy who cries, man.
You know what? That's fair enough. We've got enough better players and goals just as good.
Fucking crying, dude.
So if we got to cut him out for his post-match antics, I'm cool to cut it out.
Yeah, don't cry.
But look, we both had Brighton in that one, and look, that now puts Tottenham 2 points behind West Ham in the race out of relegation. They're still 18th, but 2 points, 5 games to go. Okay, might as well get this over and done with. We'll talk about my game. The centre-backless Manchester United beat Chelsea 1-0, somehow kept a clean sheet.
To be fair, we both went Chelsea.
We both went Chelsea. You had to.
Well, you got to look at the situation you're in. There's no Euro, there's no Martinez, and there's no Harry Maguire. So they're your 2 starting centre backs, and then your backup centre back, both out. So they ended up playing. Was it Dallo? No, Mashawawi
and Heaven
at centre back. And mate, Heaven was pulling off some great tackles.
Yeah.
Right, this is the guy that was getting breezed past all season by every other team, and you guys were making him look like a seasoned vet.
Bro, we couldn't do shit. So this is how the game broke down. We had, Cunha scored, right? Bruno Fernandes with the assist. Garnacho and I think it was Gusto just let him run, and he crosses it in, and Cunha made a good run in and scored. And it was a good goal, but I think the problem was we couldn't fucking score. How do you not score with a defense like that?
Well, it's not even that. How many attempts on target did you guys manage?
So we had 21 shots, 3 on target.
Yeah,
that is disgusting. They had 4 shots, 1 on. They had 4 shots, 1 on target. And so we had the same. 1-0. Yeah, we had just as many shots on target as they had shots in total, and they beat us.
Your conversion rate's just not there.
We haven't got the.
And you had no João Pedro for this game.
No João Pedro,
which was a huge loss for you guys. Without João Pedro, I don't think you have a seasoned goal scorer.
No, we don't.
Right? You have Delap, and Delap's clearly struggled this season. Yep. I thought with Rosenier coming in, he would know how to play him. And I just don't. He doesn't get the service, or vice versa. He's not getting in the position to get the ball.
Well,
I don't know what it is.
It's funny because like when he plays the smaller teams, right, he drops in and picks up the ball deeper and allows our wingers to express themselves more, but it just didn't come off. They just knew how to play Delap in this game. He's very one-dimensional.
Well, the other point is Esteval injured.
Yeah, he's going to be out for about 3 weeks with a hamstring injury. So look,
he's a recurring hamstring injury too, isn't it?
I know for an 18-year-old, it's not good. So he's still going to make the World Cup, but I don't know if he'll play the rest of the year. He probably might get some games at the end, but it's not looking good.
I think that the one highlight that stands out for me in this game was Garnacho takes the ball on a counter-attack, goes for a run, and runs directly into Casemiro to lose the ball.
Yeah,
and puts the entire team under pressure again.
I don't know what tactics he's given. I don't know what's going on in his head, but he's flopped. It's been a flop season. He's played well in like EFL Cup and FA Cup because he played smaller teams, right? Even against Arsenal in the EFL Cup, he had a good game. But when it comes to the Prem, right, he's been nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. I would like to bring up the last time we actually won a Premier League game, and that was the 5th of March. Right? And that was against Aston Villa, right? Since then, we've won 2 FA Cup games, and we've lost 2 Champions League games, and we've lost 4 Premier League games, and we have not scored in these Premier League games.
That's the big problem, not getting a goal.
Yeah, we're going close to 400. I think it's over 400 minutes since we've scored a goal. You cannot have that, especially if you're trying to push for Europe.
And like I was saying with the whole Lampard situation, it takes managers who have been in these bad situations to understand how to get out of them. I don't think Rosenier knows how to.
No, because I don't think anyone in the club knows how to. There's no director, there's no coaching staff, there's no players that would be able to say, look, this is what we need to do to drag ourselves out. Now, I listened to John Oben Mikel's podcast, and bro, he's losing his shit. He's like, back in the day, if we were going through a bad period, we wouldn't talk to each other, but we would know what we needed to do to get out of it. Right now,
we also had that leader.
Oh, bro. Well, we had Mikel, Essien, we had Lampard, we had John Terry, Didier Drogba, Petr Cech, Ivanovic, Cahill. Bro, I just named off 8 names just off the top of my head that were all leaders in that team.
Well, they're all experienced players.
Yeah.
That understood that every bad slump in form only requires you to lock in to get back into the good form, right?
Yeah.
Like you just have to believe that you can win the game.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and then I'll add on top of that, you got Ashley Cole, Ballack, Joe Cole, fucking Maluda. All those guys knew how to get out of these sticky situations.
But they also believed in themselves.
Correct. We don't have that.
Timo Werner, and he couldn't score, and he went to, I want to say it was Tuchel at the time. Was Tuchel
probably
there?
Tuchel? Yeah.
He went to Tuchel and said he needs more shooting practice.
Yeah.
Tuchel just simply said to him, "Well, no, like you know how to score. You've always scored. It's not a thing of shooting. It's a confidence.
It's a confidence thing.
But again, he didn't believe that he could do it.
Yeah.
And I think that these young players are the same. I think the hype from social media, the actual media outlets themselves.
I think having no leaders in the dressing room is a big problem. Tosin is the oldest guy there. And do you really think that someone like Enzo or like Estevao is going to listen to toss in.
But then also to have the players that Cucurella is supposed to be your senior guys coming out publicly and saying how bad it is. Enzo coming out publicly and saying doesn't want to be there essentially.
All he said was Madrid would probably be where he'd like to live. And people have looked into that as much as they could. But again, it's not a good thing to say.
That's where a senior player, and I would say Salah did the wrong thing about it. But what was his response to that? He came out, he apologised, and he said, "I did the wrong thing."
And then he come in and bang goals and win your games.
Correct. I just don't think Enzo's done that.
No, he definitely hasn't. So look, good for Man U, but that's pretty much killed the top 5. I think top 5 is now settled, and they just need to organise who's going to go where.
Correct.
The next game was Forest and Burnley. Look, we both picked Forest in that game. Finished 4-1. Burnley scored first, but then Morgan Gibbs-White scored a 15-minute hat trick.
Yeah. And but again, I don't.
This is after they played in the Europa League.
This is obviously Forest had to make a statement, right? They don't want to get relegated.
Yep.
They need these points to be able to stay in. Burnley, who will be relegated, I think, after this weekend.
Well, they're 11 points behind Tottenham, so 13 points out of the relegation zone.
So
they're pretty
theoretically, they still could make. They could still stay in. They are not going to.
They're not going to.
It is pretty much the second confirmed.
They would need Burnley would need to win all their games, and West Ham and Tottenham would have to lose all their games, which won't happen. But look, the good thing for Forest is they are now 5 points out of the relegation zone.
Good for them,
right? And that's what you want. But look, Gibbs White got the hat trick, and then Igor Jesus got the last goal. Aston Villa, fuck, bro, this was a wild game. So
this was a crazy game.
Bro, this is wild.
It went in peaks and troughs.
Yeah.
Right? Like, Villa was dominating Sunderland.
They killed them.
They was dominating them. It didn't look like Sunderland were even going to do anything.
Yeah. So Watkins scores after 2 minutes. And I'm like, oh, Watkins scored. That's nice. Then Riggs scores 7 minutes later.
Which, to be fair, also has a shout for goal of the week.
Riggs?
What
was his goal?
So, one, it's his first goal. One, given his age.
Yeah.
What is he, 18?
I'll tell you.
Years old?
I'll tell you, yeah.
He cuts it inside.
18.
Scores his first Premier League goal by curling it. Right?
Oh, yes.
Takes it inside.
With his left
foot. Curls it to the opposite corner.
Yeah.
Beautiful finish.
It's not bad for an 18-year-old.
Don't get me wrong. Overhead kick is a nicer goal.
Yeah.
But for your first Premier League goal as an 18-year-old, I'll give him a shout for a goal.
It was a very good goal, yeah.
100%.
Watkins scored his second, 36th minute. Rogers scored right after halftime. So it was 3-1 essentially. And then Sunderland scored 2 goals in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
86, 87 minutes. Now, the first one I think was, I don't know if it was Digne's fault or Matty Cash, but someone lost the ball. And then Hume just on a real tight angle and went over Martinez.
I also love the commentator's response to that. They are not booing him. They are chanting his name.
That's right. That was a good one. And then Isidore scored, but there, Tammy Abraham, the 93rd minute.
Hey, look.
He put out 3 points.
It was a poacher's goal.
It was a mad poacher's goal.
Ball just got whipped in. All he had to do was make it difficult for the keeper. And that's what he did.
That's
it.
He
just got in the way of it, got his touch, takes it into the corner.
Do you want to go
Which annoyed me because I want us to catch fucking Villa.
Well, you tipped Villa. I tipped the draw. So I'm kind of burning because that's another game I should have got. But just, again, injury time just fucks me.
Should have, would have, could have.
I know. And then, look, the next game too. You picked Liverpool. I picked the draw. And shit.
Christ.
I think someone's trying to say that it's your turn to run the
yeah.
run this. So
yeah,
you want to go to the Everton game?
It got offended because you were trying to talk mad shit on Liverpool, bro.
I'm spewing because I had 2 draws and both of them got turned over in injury time fucking winners.
I'm actually going to give Gakpo a fucking compliment this week.
It was a good pass for Salah's goal.
It is probably one of the assists of the season. That assist where he cuts through essentially 2, I mean, you could probably call it 3 centre-backs. He puts it in between 2 centre-backs, which then also beats the fullback for Salah just to tap it in.
Yep.
And it was a goal of old for Salah. He made the run. He used a bit of his pace and his strength to get in front of that fullback, and he used first time finish. Didn't do any of this pussyfooting where he tries to cut it inside. He tries to do a million touches, cut in, cut out, which he's been doing all season ineffectively. Just takes that first touch, goal. Fantastic. And again, I want to see him perform at the end of the season. So his send off is one of greatness, okay? Because they are liking it. They go, this is one of the worst seasons for Salah in his Liverpool career.
Probably is the worst season.
Yeah. It is still better than Saka's season. Who's supposed to be having good. He has had more goals and assists than Gyökeres in the season. He has more goal and assists than Saka, Gyökeres, and who was the third one that
Arsenal, Chelsea,
Oh, God.
Man U.
I think he's equal with Semenyo, maybe.
Oof.
For goals and assists.
Yeah.
Right, but they say all these players are having good seasons and that they're superstars.
That's just expectations of what you want.
I get it. It's just a big drop off from the 31 goals and assists that he had.
31 goals.
31 goals. Sorry, and I think it was
15, something like that.
40 something goals and assists.
Yeah, 40 something, 45 or something like that.
Goals and assists for the season, which is outstanding numbers. Obviously, look, Everton came back, gets
Beto
Beto
got his goal.
gets a goddamn goal.
Yep.
It was a bit of a shit goal, to be fair.
Across Dewsbury Hall, runs down the line, cuts it back in, and he got it right in between your goalkeeper and I think it was Konate. So it was a good pass by
I think it's
Dewsbury
one of
Hall.
those one. If we've got better fullbacks in the team, we avoid that because again we're playing Curtis Jones at right back.
Yeah.
And I think if we could if we had a more solid right back there, we probably do a little bit better in the game. We can keep some more.
Mm-hmm.
And then it goes to 11 minutes of extra time. And who does it for us other than our captain, Verge? Comes in, header off a corner to win us the game and get us the points. And that was
the Merseyside derby at Everton's new home ground.
And that was what's the first time we've won?
What do you mean?
The first time we've won at that new ground now.
That's only your first game.
Correct.
Right? Yeah. So you're 1 from 1.
Yeah.
Great.
That's 100%, baby.
Well done.
I'll take it. Listen, bitch. I'll take it. But it is the Liverpool of old. Like that was
Salah Van Dijk goal scorers. That's last year's shit.
That's last year's shit. I mean, Van Dijk's debut against Everton scores a header to win us the game. He does it again in this game. This is what you want to see your players do. Mm-hmm. And look, I'm happy to see it. I'm hoping we can carry this kind of energy to the end of the season because it will only help going into next season, especially with a lot of the younger players. Salah leaving leaves that big gap there. We want to see him out.
I think the big point as well was the rumor coming out, news coming out that Konate is looking like he's going to re-sign.
Interesting one. I think.
I think it's good for you guys considering how old Van Dijk is, and you don't need to go out and buy another big another big defender, but he does need to pick his game up now.
Many mistakes.
You know my feelings behind players that sign long-term contracts and then the next season they do fucking dog's balls.
Well, he's already done dog's balls now. So
you're imagining us...
It can get worse? Yeah. God, I hope not.
Yeah, exactly. I think we do this one and leave it to last.
We 100% do the Palace-West Ham game first.
Yeah, Palace-West Ham finished 0-0 and that's all we got to say about that. And James tipped it. He got a draw. I had Palace. He tipped draw. Good pick on that one.
I mean, look, I think the only talking point here is that Palace had an overturned goal. Handball from Mateta.
Spewing for me.
In which Ismail Assar kicks it, just takes a touch and then kicks it in. But other than that, it was a lot of half chances. West Ham had a few good chances that they probably could have scored. Castellanos, the Greek striker they've got, had a couple of opportunities just saved by the keeper or hit it straight at him.
Yep.
But other than that, it was a fairly straightforward game for a 0-0 draw.
Yep.
Then we had the game of the round.
This was the game everybody's been waiting for, the game everyone's been talking about, and it finished probably a little bit closer than I thought it was going to finish, but still finished the way we thought. Man City with a 2-1 win. They have now cut their lead from 6-3 with a game in hand, and they are now only 1 point behind them on goal difference.
Well, look, Arsenal had their chances to probably get a result in this game.
Yeah, for
I just
sure.
don't think that they executed. Obviously, Brian Cherky scores the opening goal, which I think we're also tipping for a potential goal of the week as well.
This one has been compared as Hazard-esque. He ripped 4 players to get there and then nuttied Gabriel.
Yeah.
To tell you, like, bro, that was just fantastic. Great goal to watch, and he is just on fire. He's probably the most informed player at the moment.
But again, look, if you look at a stat, if the game's based on stats, Man City won in every category, right? They had more shots. They had more shots on target, 5-2. They had stronger possession, 59%. They had more passes at 486. They had a better pass accuracy. They committed less fouls, right?
Yep.
They were offside 0 times. They won more corners.
You do kind of expect that with Man City at home, and Arsenal do like to try to shut up shop and try to ride it out.
That's pretty clear when they don't play their top goal scorer, Gyökeres.
Yeah, so they started with Havertz up top, but I will say he did score. So Núñez does the throwing back, and Donnarumma kind of takes his time. But I think Havertz just really put good pressure on him. And then Donnarumma goes to clear it, comes off Havertz's foot and goes in the goal. And you're like, fuck, all right, Arsenal's still in this.
A complete error by Donnarumma, which he represented at the end of the game. Because at the end of the game, he runs into the crowd and almost, jumps and celebrates with them.
Yeah.
Right? So you can see that he appreciated that he'd probably done the wrong thing. But again, are Arsenal creating goals? No. They are capitalising off errors, set pieces and corners.
Yeah.
And that's what they've divulged the game into. I did love a clip come out this week of Tony Pulis saying that Arsenal had stolen his tactics with long throws. Just they haven't managed to actually accomplish them.
Yep.
Then we look, obviously, Haaland has now come in, scored the winner in the 65th minute. There is some speculation on this that should it have been disallowed because he's pulling the jersey of, I want to say Gabriel. Was it Gabriel?
Yeah.
Because they had a battle the entire game. I think that there is obviously a shout for a red card in this game as well. That's been going back and forth online with different speculation. So Haaland and Gabriel go face to face. They put forehead to forehead, in which Gabriel pushes forward with his head almost in a headbutting motion. Now, for me, I think it's a yellow card. I don't think it's a red card. I don't think it does it with malice. And I think they're both kind of
doing it. Yeah.
They both come together on it. But the argument can be made that they've given this as a red card before, right? Other players have gotten the red card. Obviously, there's the hair pulling incident, which, one side's gotten red cards, the other hasn't. Look, for me, I don't personally think it was worth a red card, but I could have seen how you can argue that it is a red card.
No, I'm with you. It would have been, it's probably better it wasn't a red card because it would have just been an excuse as to why Arsenal didn't win. Yeah. But it's good that they kept it on the pitch. Like, all right, head to head, fuck off, and let's get back into the game.
Well, I do give credit to Haaland in this incident
because he could have gone down.
His post-match interview said, I think if I went down, he probably would have got a red.
Yeah, he might have been right.
He probably would have got a red if he went down. And to his credit, he didn't. He got up, he played the game, he got the winner.
Scored the winner, yeah. I will say that there were a couple other chances. Haaland hit the post. Eze hit the post.
Yes.
There was one where I think it was Cherky, where it came off Gabriel's arm and it nearly went in. Now, it wasn't a handball because his arm was by his side, but I forget who it was. It might have been O'Reilly. Had a shot, came off Gabriel's arm. That one nearly went in. Havertz had a great chance in the 60th minute before the goal and in the 95th minute to equalise off a header, which went over the bar. So, look, I think Arsenal tried to take their chances. They was probably one of the better games I've seen them play of recent times. But Man City, just doing what they do. It's April. They're going to win.
Well, I mean, that's kind of a decent segue.
Thank you. I kind of worked that one.
Yeah, I like that. You've done this before, I see.
Not my first rodeo.
But look, I've pulled up some stats that are very interesting, especially when it comes to this. So, Man City have only managed to lose one Premier League match in their final 10 games since the 2021-2022 season. So that's one loss in now 44 games. Now, for anyone, I'd have to laugh. I saw this on Instagram and looked it up. There was the first comment or the most liked comment on there going, well, if it's been 5 seasons, why isn't it 50 games? You just got to wonder sometimes how these retards live their life.
Oh, dude, I don't know how you could live like that.
Do they forget to breathe?
Maybe they were dropped on their head as a baby.
They're just walking, and then at one point they're going, and and they're like, dude, you just need to breathe. You get,
No wonder I was going blue.
oh God, thank God. Which is a fantastic. And you went and looked it up before the pod. The one loss that they had was against Brentford on the final day of the season after they'd already won the league by 5 points.
The 2022-23 season, they lost to Brentford 1-0, and they actually started Palmer. They started some guy called Sergio Rodriguez or something, or Luis, I don't know, some Spanish guy. Garcia, I think it was.
Never heard of him again.
And then they started Calvin Phillips.
Calvin Phillips was in there.
Calvin Phillips didn't play any games, and he started in that one.
Yeah.
So, look, they already had the title wrapped up. Didn't even matter. And that's the one game they lost. So it just shows you when it's crunch time, when it's important times, when it's time to win, Man City do it.
Well, that's it. They understand how to win.
Correct.
Now, he's on the flip side for Arsenal. Here is Gyökeres is averaging one shot on target every 110 minutes in the Premier League, meaning he gets one shot on target every game and a quarter.
That's bad. It's bad. You can't have that from your striker.
No, dude.
Look, I understand if if you're not scoring, but just in the position, you might not be hitting them right. Like a Timo Werner, right? Like he would get it on target.
Dude, Darwin Núñez.
Yeah, Darwin Núñez. You know what I mean? Like, but bro, 110 minutes, you can't have that from your striker.
No. It means he's not getting in the positions to create these big chances, or if he is getting into these positions to create the big chances, he's not even putting it on target.
Or it's just a shot at his midfield. They're not finding him.
Yeah, which I tend to agree when you watch Odegaard play.
You watch Odegaard play, he's sideways. Aiden loves to say he plays sideways or he plays to the wings. Right, he doesn't go straight to Gyökeres, and there's been plenty of times we've seen where Gyökeres making the run, he's just got to put a nice ball through, but Odegaard just doesn't do it. So
now, to argue that point, and I think this works in well with it, is that, okay, maybe you're right with the midfield not finding him or the wingers not finding him, but Arsenal have the highest possession rate, meaning they're holding the ball more than any other team in the Premier League. However, their cross-completion rate sits at 22%, meaning that they are going in, they've attempted nearly 400 crosses in the league this season, and 22% of them have been able to find an Arsenal player.
That means they've, out of 400, it's a little over 100 that they found someone.
Yeah.
Now, look, they are a smaller team. Probably crosses aren't the best idea, but when you're playing handball, crosses are a big part of it.
Well, that's how they're winning their corners.
Yeah.
They take it to the byline and they're crossing it in.
Yeah.
Are you telling me that your only aim is to win that corner? Or is your aim to find a player? Well, did you go and buy a big 6'3" striker who can hold the player off for a cross and you don't find him? So you telling me they're not finding him, or is he not in the right position?
They are purposely getting corners. Yeah. Right? And you know why? Because you can see when they get a corner, you can see their bench and Arteta going, fuck yeah, like we've got a corner.
They're celebrating.
Bro, nobody celebrates corners like that.
No.
Psychos celebrate corners like that.
Yeah, people that...
Pedophiles celebrate corners like that.
Nice, an 8-year-old corner. I mean, nice, a corner.
But yeah, look, I don't see it as like they're doing it to not get corners. I just feel like they do it, they get a corner and like, all right, now we can do our set play. I don't see it as like, and it's like, oh, it's unfortunate we got another corner from this cross that we didn't get.
Well, I mean, usually a corner is an advantage that you get for a good attacking piece of play that results in a save or some good defense. They are trying to win the corners off bad attack.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They are not being effective enough in attack. So I've got two other points here, which are just going to paint a picture of what is to come for Arsenal. Man City has statistically won 88% of their final 10 games since 2018.
So you play 10 games, they're winning 9.
Well, yeah, they're winning 8.8 games 8.8 out of 10.
Yeah.
Meaning that they might draw one.
Well, it can only be a draw because they've only lost once.
Yeah.
In April and March. So
it's
April and May.
If they play 10 games, that the odds of them losing a game is so much less than them winning, not drawing or gaining a point or anything. It's winning.
Yep.
And that's what they do. And just before, obviously, we move on, the final point I've got is Pep's average points versus Arteta's average points when it comes to the month of April. right? Which everyone says is the most crucial month when it comes to the Premier League because it sets you up for the final, for the final games of the season, which obviously we're now in, right? Pep's average points per game in April is 2.53 points.
It's crazy.
Whilst Arteta's is 1.48, which means when the pressure's on, Arteta's failing to get the points that he requires to get across the line.
This is where, like, you look at Liverpool last year, you guys won the title in April. Mm-hmm. You need to win the title in April. If you don't, Man City's going to be on your ass.
Correct.
And you can't have that.
Yeah, exactly right. Because
they're going to get you. They're going to get you.
There's well, look, all the comments now come out from like Bernardo Silva the year before, where they were going off about Arsenal. Arsenal are not our rivals. They've never not won the league in 20 odd years, and they don't look like that they're going to win the league, right? Because they don't scare City.
No,
when they're looking at it, you can see the mentality of City when it comes towards Arsenal, and it is not high pressure games.
It's big brother, little brother.
Yeah.
Big time.
That's exactly what it is.
And the way it's looking, it looks like it's going to be another second. But look, Declan Rice did come out after the game, and he was like, it's not over yet. And he's right, it's not over yet.
Okay, this was not after the game. This was on the pitch.
Yeah, on the pitch, sorry, yeah.
Once the game was over.
Yeah, that's what I meant, sorry, yeah.
Now, the problem that I have with that is that I look at that like the rest of the players don't believe that they can win this.
Well, you know who he said that to? He said that to Odegaard, your captain.
Uh-huh.
Why is he telling the captain that? Don't the captain be telling them that?
Hey, well, mate, this is the future Ballon d'Or winner, Declan Rice.
Get out of here,
What
bro.
a joke.
Get out of here.
Yeah, well, they was comparing him to KDB.
Oh,
right?
please.
When KDB got the player of the year but never won a player of the month.
Yeah.
They're saying Declan Rice is the same. They're sitting there going, well, what does Declan Rice really do?
He does set pieces.
Yeah, correct. Like, okay.
He's the best passer in their midfield, but that's not saying much.
Well, no, because I look at their pass accuracy and it's at 80% versus Man City's 88%. Right? And that's off Arsenal attempting 290 passes versus Man City's 486. So I just don't think that he is actually as efficient as the rest of them say. And
dude, they all say that because they couldn't. There's no striker or attacker that is actually worthy of a Ballon d'Or this year. So they go to their next best position, which is their midfield, and you go, oh yeah, if England have a gun World Cup, he has to win the Ballon d'Or if we win the treble or quadruple or whatever they're thinking. But there is no way that you could put him in that category of Olise or Harry Kane or probably maybe not Dembele. Who would be maybe Vitinha? You can't put him in that position that these guys are in right now. You just can't.
No, João Pedro from PSG is better than him.
Not João
Pedro. João Neves.
João Neves, yeah.
João Neves is
21 years old. No, that's
Vitinha.
Vitinha. Sorry, yeah, he's 25, and yeah, Joe Neves is gun. He's gun, bro.
This is what I mean. I see these players and I go, they are of a higher quality.
Yeah.
Again,
look, everyone that
Arsenal
says
has played this season on easy mode and they've made it hard for themselves.
Anyone that says Declan Rice is in the Ballon d'Or conversation, bro, get your heads checked. There's no way.
Hey, it's like Ty in that.
Ty?
Oh,
fuck you, bro. He's on a spectrum of a whole nother level. He's next level, bro. So, but look, let's transition into fantasy. We'll finish off with fantasy.
Obviously, the round is still on because we've got a lot of double matches this week.
So coming up. We've got three double games. So tomorrow is Chelsea Brighton, and then we've got Burnley City, and then we've got Bournemouth Leeds. That's the three games going on. So anyone with players in them, they're continuing on, but next week they're out.
But is this going to be a complete bottle for the World 11 Daniel Stammer?
The ultimate bottle.
Because Arsenal fan himself, he has been leading this comp commandingly for the entire season.
Just like Arsenal.
Yes, this is it. It smells and tastes like bottled water, baby. I think if he manages to bottle this, we start calling him Evian.
Evian.
Because
more like Mount Franklin, bro. Come on.
Frantel. He's Frantel water, baby.
He's 7-Eleven water.
Well, obviously this was a big round for him, and there are still games to play. So don't get me wrong, he could still pull this out.
Well,
but
let's click into his team. Let's see who he's got left. Because, I mean, 36 is not that good at the moment, right?
No.
And look, he does have a lot of he does have a lot of guys that still to play, but
So he's used
his whole
his wild
squad,
card.
his whole squad still has to play.
Yeah, he's used his wild card to bring in quite a few players, and I think obviously his error here was captaining Semenyo, thinking that Semenyo was going to pull some stuff off. But obviously Burnley still to play. Fucking Semenyo could come out and get a goddamn hat trick.
Correct.
Okay, Krupi Junior. I don't like the Scott and Sensei could be decent Leeds at home. Mm-hmm. Okay. So look, there's possibilities because obviously Leeds is going to play in the FA Cup.
Yep.
So they could come off the back end of it.
And Leeds are pretty comfortable, so they might rest some players. Like in the league, I mean, they're pretty comfortable with relegation.
Potentially.
Yeah.
Potentially just for that FA Cup match because I think making an FA Cup final would be huge for Leeds.
Fuck yeah.
So look, obviously he's still got a lot of players to play, so anything could happen.
But
Duckman
Ewan, the man who we didn't know who he was for like half a season,
has come in, used his bench boost, and gotten 70 points so far.
And that's fucking really good considering that. I mean, it's a bench boost, but he didn't triple captain.
Obviously, what you've got to look at, he has the exact same players out of Man City, but he's captained Haaland over Semenyo, and he's obviously at an advantage at the moment. So,
and they both have a Bruggen, Van Hecker, and Senesi. Mm-hmm. So who's on his bench boost?
So you've got Fernandez, Gabriel, which is obviously 0.
And look, he got a clean sheet out of the Leeds guy, so he's already got 6 points. Now, look, if Bournemouth score, whatever, you already got your 6 points though. So you've done a good job there. Gabriel will be playing Newcastle. Oh, no, he's done. Sorry. So, yeah, look, he's done a very good job. 70 points already is a really, really good job.
I don't see Sam catching the points, but trying to bridge the gap could occur.
Yep. And he's a Chelsea fan, thank God. At least one of us is winning.
And then obviously we've got the biggest shit talker in the league being Cash trying to come from behind, being our top 3. Let's see what he's used his free hit this week. So look, he's still got players to play. Captain Haaland, so you could do that. Cherky,
great buy.
To bring in.
Look at that, he's got 3 Leeds defenders.
I find interesting that he's got Palmer and Enzo in there.
Well, he doesn't have. He had the Brighton guys down the bottom, so I think he's assumed that Chelsea would do better. But obviously, they haven't worked out because we haven't scored. But I like the Leeds defenders. He drew out 19 points out of those 2 already.
Yeah,
or 3.
for sure.
Sorry, out of those 3
for sure.
So look, let's see how it goes. Duckman Ewan is coming up on the rear. He's the Man City of the group, and obviously, Akash is Man U, so they're 3rd. That makes a lot of sense. And Stammer's Arsenal, which is 1st. So it's funny how it's all kind of mirroring the Premier League.
It's going to be really close.
And we still got 6 weeks? 5 weeks?
5 weeks. So
5 weeks to go.
5 weeks to go. But next week's going to be a big one because obviously a lot of teams are missing.
Yep.
And then now the difference, we'll have to see what the difference is going to be at the end of this week. But at the moment, what's he? 24 points behind.
Yeah, 24. So it's not much.
If Haaland manages to produce another 12 points, that lead gets cut.
Stammer has Haaland as well, though. But it will get cut.
If he produces another 12 points, then he will go up 12 points. Like, you know what I mean? Like, instantly, depending on what Semenyo does, because they've matched each other's players.
It's going to be very interesting. Thursday morning, 5 a.m., Burnley City.
Huge game to watch.
It's big for the league. It's big for our fantasy. It's just all round cinema.
Yeah. So look, I mean, until next week, I think we'll have a lot to talk about.
We'll have a lot to talk about next week,
and it could be a giant bottle session.
I'll bring my bottles.
Yeah, I'm gonna start popping champagne, bro. But until next week, peace out, bitches.